So if, for example, I have another account as here, if I have another account, then I have to create another identity provider and or create another enterprise application AWS single account access, then download that federation metadata XML, then upload it on that identity provider as well and create role that as well. So if I have, for example, 5 accounts, I have to repeat the same steps on each account. So it is very tough. That's why AWS single sign-on comes into play to make life very easy for us. As you can see here, even if you get in identity provider, they give you this message to inform you that there is another service that can make life very easy for you. But if you take these steps, it will be very tough and it will be very boring to deal with it, and especially when you are dealing with a huge number of AWS accounts. So I will create roles, but in, I will show you only the step for the one role, and you can create the other one for you later on. So I will create a role, and this role is for access to our S3 bucket on this account. So create role, we'll create a role, and here the type of the trusted entity is the SAML federation. I will choose my SAML provider I have created earlier. Then I will allow programmatic and AWS management console access. I will give it permission for this role, and that is S3 full access. Next review, I will call it role 1. Then I create that role. I will define a new policy, because this policy I will assign it to a user, and the credential of that user, the access key and the secret key, we will use them in our application to test the configuration or to test the connection between our identity provider and our enterprise application we have created. And this credential of users, this user will have the policies of listing the roles. Then this application will be able to access to our roles in AWS, and when we will create users, we will be able to see what are the roles that we want to assign to a specific user. For example, if you create, for example, on your AWS come here, so this is your AWS account, then you create 5 roles. Just 3 to make it very easy. So role 2 and role 3, and in each role there is permission, of course. Permissions. So when the user, when in here in the application, we will choose what are the users that want them to interact with our AWS account, and for each user we will specify a role for him. And how this role will appear here is thanks to the user that we have created, and we attach to that user the policies of listing the roles. Then for that user, if we specify for him the role of permission, for example, to role that contain permission of S3 read only, then once that user on our Azure will interact with our account, right? Then this user has only the S3 read only permission. But if we create, for example, for the other user EC2 read only as well, so this user, for example, if a new user or that user that we have assigned him that role, it will be able only to read the configuration of our EC2 instance. I will clear this will be seem clear for you once we will start to do that. So I will create a policy, and they will, for the policy, will choose service. I am, and then for the actions, I want to list role. So list roles, and scroll down, new tag, review, and name, I will call it list role policy. We'll scroll down and create the policy. Now I will create user. I will add new user. You can call it whatever you want, it does not matter. Azure user, I will call it Azure user as long as I am using the Azure identity provider, Azure Active Directory as our identity provider, but you can call it whatever you want, it does not matter. And then here I will give it the access key and the programmatic key. These keys, we will use them to test the configuration or test the connection between our identity provider and our application. So next, permissions, I will attach existing policies for this user, and we search filtered list role, yes, here, tag, review, and then create that user. So I will come back here, and then in provisioning, click on get started, and I will choose automatic, and in the admin credentials I have to provide this credential of the user we have created. So we copy the access key and paste it here, and then the secret key as well, and then we'll test the connection, and it worked as we expected. Now I will save that, and now if I scroll down here, let me come back here, I have to close that and go to roles, and delete this one. So once it's deleted here, I will go to my application, and now I will start provision. So let me refresh, and now as you can see I have one role here. So if I can, for example, and create another role, example, hello,